Hello, friends, and welcome to the space where we discuss business, landscaping, beer, and everything in between. I'm your host, Heather Jerrard from My Landscape Artist here in London, Ontario, Canada. And this is Season 2 of Hops and Hedges. Stay tuned after each episode for a message from our sponsor, ext.tech. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Now crack open a cold one, and let's dig in.
There we go. Here we are. And with me today is Elissa Astorino from the Niagara Parks, or you're recently a graduate of the Niagara Parks program, right?
Yes, just recently graduated. Yeah.
Excellent. Congratulations. I'm a graduate of Fanshawe College myself.
Oh, very nice.
So very exciting stuff. And you're actually joining me on the show from Melbourne, Australia right now.
Yes, currently 9 a.m. in Melbourne.
And it is 5 p.m. here. So I'm calling you from London, Ontario, where it's 5 p.m. And for you, it's 9 a.m. So we are not doing beer on this episode. No. But we still have lots to talk about. So you recently graduated from Niagara Park School of Horticulture. You did a 3-month placement in Brisbane. Brisbane?
Yes.
Brisbane.
Brisbane.
Is that how you say it? Brisbane.
Yes.
Not Brisbane. Brisbane. And now you're in Melbourne. So
yes.
Can you just tell us a little bit about your journey, how you got to this point so far?
Yeah, it's a bit of a crazy story that started almost exactly a year ago today, like literally a year ago. So as part of my 3-year program, we had to
So even before that, I'm going to cut you off. Even before that,
okay.
How did you discover horticulture, and how did you find this whole industry, this profession?
Okay. Yeah. So growing up, my parents were always in the garden. Like we have a vegetable garden, a flower garden. My nonna, my nono, they also have a garden. So I kind of grew up around gardening and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
My mom's a florist, so she was always bringing flowers to the house. And first I didn't like her job because she had to work so often, but eventually I grew used to it. And I was like, oh, this is kind of nice. So during high school, I had the option to take a different elective, but I didn't want to take something that I was inside for. So I took a green industries course, which introduced me to horticulture. So I did that for 2 years, and I really enjoyed that horticulture program. We did outdoor work at the Botanic Gardens, and we did some in-class lectures as well. So I decided to take a co-op and see if it was something I wanted to pursue further. So I did a co-op with the Niagara Park School of Horticulture, and that just solidified it for me. I loved it. I did I think 3 months in the summer working there, and I just loved the atmosphere. I loved the students, I loved the teachers, and I was like, oh, this is definitely what I want to go for. So that's when I applied to the Niagara Park School of Horticulture. Unfortunately, COVID happened, so my year got pushed back. Yeah, so I worked as a florist for a bit, which was really fun because then I got to see what my mom did, and I kind of experienced that field. And that's kind of what brought me into design, really enjoying design, as like putting different colors, different textures, being creative. So from that point, I kind of had an idea of, okay, design's pretty interesting to me. So yeah, that's kind of how I got into horticulture itself.
And so if you don't mind admitting and putting it publicly on the internet, can I ask how old you are now?
I will be 22 tomorrow, but 21 today.
Oh my gosh, so happy early birthday. Very exciting.
Thank you. Yeah.
And so you are 21 years old, and you are the first Canadian to be invited to design a garden for the Melbourne International Flower and Garden Show in 2024.
Yes. Yeah.
No big deal.
Yeah, it was really exciting. Really great experience.
Like, that's freaking awesome. So you go, girl. Congrats. That is epic. So how did that come about?
Yeah, so that was part of like my schooling. It all started there. So part of the 3rd-year program, we had to reach out to people and network in the industry, and we had to find a placement because we had to work, I think it was like a 3-month placement or 10 weeks or something. With another company to graduate. So I was reaching out to all these people, and I was really set on Ireland. I'm like, I love Ireland. I want to go work in Ireland. Like I'm reaching out to everybody I could find in Ireland. And an alumni gave me contact for this Irish designer, Peter Donegan. And I saw all of his work online. I'm like, wow, this is beautiful. Like, it's so unique. So I reached out to him and I was like, hey, would you mind if I like come work for you? Like, I have to do a placement. I love your work. And he was like, well, I'm going to the Melbourne Flower Show, so I don't think the time's going to line up, but let's have a Zoom meeting. And I was like, okay, perfect. And then during that Zoom meeting, I was just like, can I come with you? Can I come to Melbourne with you? Like, can I come help? And he's like, yeah, sure. And I was like, oh my God, like, really? And he's like, yeah.
Wow.
So that was super exciting. And I actually went to meet him in Ireland over Christmas. And we just kind of talked about the Melbourne show because I've never been to Australia. And I was just like, so what's it about? Like, what do you do? And yeah, so I met him there. And then a few months later, we flew out to Melbourne and I designed my garden and I helped on his garden, A Moment in Time. And he introduced me to Martin Semkin from Semkin Landscaping, who offered, and he was like, oh, do you want to do your own garden? So that's kind of how that started. It was just so much networking in like such a short span, and everything just kind of roller coastered. It was this big, fabulous, like, yeah, adventure.
That's so amazing. And I mean, good on you for being open to opportunity. You know,
Yeah,
I
thank you.
love that you just, you know what, you loved Ireland. So a name was given to you and you just ran with it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was a bit nervous at first, like reaching out and networking with people. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, how do I do this? But the more I did it, the more confident I became. I'm like, okay, like, what's the worst that's going to happen? They're going to turn me down. Like, that's fine. Like, I'll
Right?
still be in the same spot. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
I say all the time, especially to young people getting into really any industry, but if you don't ask, the answer is no already.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So
Yeah,
if you ask, the worst case scenario is they say no, but you know that it's a no. Or if you don't
exactly.
ask, the answer is no.
Yeah, and then you're
So
left wondering. You're like, oh, what if, what if, what if? I don't want no what
yeah,
ifs. I just want to take the shot.
just go for it. Get that no and
Yeah,
then move on. Right?
exactly.
Move on to the next ask. So yeah, good on you. It is very, very cool. I did see pictures of the garden that you designed and installed on Instagram. So very, very cool. Um,
Oh, thank you.
You did touch on it briefly, but I always like to ask people about their mentors, right? We don't get anywhere in life, in our professions, unless we have a support team, either personally or professionally, or parents, or there's always somebody. And you did mention Peter Donegan, but can you talk a little bit about him and how he's influenced you?
Yeah, I feel like I've had such a great support team overall. So Peter Donegan for sure helped me so much. And it was just really great because I had all of these ideas and he helped me understand like this is the path, like there's all these different pathways. He just kind of helped me understand how the industry works and really pushed me towards what I wanted to do and encouraged me. And I just really appreciated that. I feel like he definitely helped me get to where I am today. And it was just crazy that it started all just with one Zoom meeting and it was just like, hi. And then, yeah, it just spiraled so much. And he also introduced me to Ben French from Yards, who I worked with for the 3 months. And Ben French, I would also say, was an incredible mentor to me, just showed me so much and taught me so many different things and really opened up. And it just allowed me to understand the industry, understand like the professional side, but also like the personal side of like having relationships with people. Like not everything is just like the business on paper.
Mhm.
So yeah, I just feel like I've had so many support, like people, like so many mentors, like even my parents are so supportive. So
Yeah.
everyone's been really great.
That's so, that's just, it just warms my heart knowing and hearing these stories about mentors that, you know, there are people out there that are opening their arms and opening their doors to teach and to, you know, share their experience to move the rest of us along. So
Yeah.
that's really
Yeah.
cool.
I was really thankful for that. Like I didn't expect it to go as far as it did, but that's what's really great about like Peter and Ben, even Martin Semkin. Like I just started with hi, how are you? And then it just turned into this big thing. And it's really nice that people are willing to do that.
I love that. I was just saying before I hopped on the meeting, actually, I was talking to my husband that, you know, I'm interviewing Elissa and she's in Melbourne right now. And it's still amazing to me that uh, we get to live in this era of the internet and Zoom meetings, right? COVID, I think,
Mm-hmm.
made us all a lot more confident with Zoom and using Zoom, and but it's made the world a smaller place in a good way. It's
Yeah.
allowed us to connect to people that we never would have reached out to before. because it's so
100%.
easy.
Yeah.
It's so easy
Yeah.
just to put out an ask or to say hi. Or I know on Instagram, I tend to send messages to people that I just love their content. And I said, hey,
Mhm.
I'm not selling anything. I'm not trying to do anything, but your content is awesome and just keep rocking it. Just want you to
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
You
And that's
know,
so nice
like,
to hear sometimes. It's so nice to like tell people that. It's just, yeah, it's very good.
yeah. There's actually there's a guy in Australia that I follow. I think it's called Nathan. Nathan's Landscaping or Nathan's oh, I'm gonna have to look him up, but he cuts grass for strangers. And I mean
Okay.
he has a company, but he also does this thing where if he sees a property or a person that needs help, he'll knock on their door and be like, "Hey, can I cut your grass for free?" And it's
Oh, that's
just
so nice.
yeah, I'm gonna post it in the information or the details of this episode, and I'll send you his name when I remember. I
Yeah.
feel so
Oh,
bad
that's
that I
really
can't.
cool.
It's Nathan something, but he's
Yeah.
he's one of my Instagram heroes. He really inspires me. So on the questionnaire, I always ask people, what they like to drink. For you, it's 9 a.m. For me, it's 5 p.m. You've got a nice glass of water. I'm working on some Perrier.
Yep.
There's nothing quite like fizzy water. I spent some time in Italy and now I just can't drink regular water.
Oh, really?
I just can't. It's plain water is can't do it. Can't do it. Uh
I'm quite the opposite.
yeah, you're like flat water. I want it
Flat
clear, I
water,
want it
that's it.
clean, just yeah. So no
Yeah.
flavor, no nothing. Just good old
Nothing, just
water.
water.
Yeah, I just can't do it. It's weird. But on your questionnaire, you actually mentioned chai latte as one of your favorite
Oh,
beverages.
I love chai lattes. Yeah, that
Okay.
was one of the good thing about Melbourne is they have like big cafe industry here. Like everybody goes to local cafes, and every time I go to a cafe, I'm like, I want a chai latte. Like I want to try them all from everywhere. They're
Yeah.
so good.
And do you
Yeah.
have a favorite one so far? Or are they all just
Mm,
delicious?
they're all very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say I don't know what the company is called, but I do work at this one commercial site with Semkin Landscaping, and they have a cafe close by. And every time I work there, I go get chai latte from there. It's really good. But yeah.
Nice. I'm a big fan of just straight up real chai
Yeah.
or like spiced tea.
Okay.
I,
Yep.
I lived in India for a year, and so
Oh,
real chai like is delicious. So as soon as you said chai
wow.
latte, I was like, I could get on this bandwagon,
Yeah.
but I do not have access to get a good chai latte right now. So, um, talking about plants. So I mean, you've been around a bit, right? Because there's the Niagara
Yeah.
Parks. So you actually were at Niagara Parks as part of your like a co-op placement with high school?
I worked at the Niagara Parks like as a co-op just for a summer, and then I was actually a student there for 3 years afterwards.
So was that in between high school and starting there, or was it part of like your grade 12 to work there?
It was grade 11 for me that I worked there as a co-op
That's so
student. And
awesome.
then grade 12 was COVID, so it got wiped out. So I'm glad
Right.
I did it beforehand because I wouldn't have had
Yeah.
the opportunity otherwise. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is so amazing. I grew up in a very small town where horticulture was not even a word in the
Really?
curriculum. Like grade 1 to 12, never heard the word horticulture.
Wow.
Didn't
Yeah.
hear the term landscape design until I was 23
Oh my goodness.
and changed my life. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
23 or 26? No, 23, and then I graduated. That's right, when I was 26.
Okay.
But very cool. And so I know it's so hard to ask people about their favorite plants. It's so hard. But you actually mentioned ginkgos.
Oh, I
And
love ginkgos. Yeah.
I have to ask you, why ginkgos? Because it's also one of my favorites.
Oh, really?
It is. I have a tattoo of ginkgo leaves on my arm. I've got an
Oh
armband
my.
of ginkgo leaves.
Wow. I love that. Yeah. If I got any tattoo, I feel like it would be a ginkgo leaf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what does the tree mean to you, or what is the attraction?
I just think number one, the leaves are so unique, but they change throughout the seasons, and the color in the fall is beautiful. Like everything about them is beautiful. And I remember in our board culture class, we had to learn about the structures of a tree and like how to tell if it's a strong tree or if it's like a weak wooded tree. And I picked the ginkgo and I did my assessment on it. I'm like, this is such a strong tree. Like just the way they grow, they're so strong and they're so beautiful. And I just like fell in love with the ginkgo tree. Every time I see that, I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
God, look, it's a ginkgo. Like
It
it's
has
so
some of the
exciting.
best fall color that I've seen. If anybody needs any proof, just look up like ginkgo trees in Japanese gardens in the fall, and it is a spectacular sight to see. So strong and beautiful, like you said, is the exact reason why I love them. So you know what? It's not a native. It doesn't really support pollinators unless it's the female, which smells like rotting meat. So you don't want a female tree. Have you ever smelled one?
Yeah, the one at our school was a female, and every time we'd walk, we were like, okay, let's not walk near the ginkgo tree. Like, it's really
It is
bad.
a smell you can't forget. That is a smell that stays with you, you know? That is just rank. But I just love that they've been around for so long, and nothing really takes them down except maybe lightning or humans.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah,
they're not
so
prone to
beautiful.
disease. They stand up to a lot of the bugs and pests, and yeah, I just think they're strong and beautiful, just like you said. So the other one that you mentioned was Baptisia. So is that the blue Baptisia are you talking about, or the Baptisia australis?
The Australis.
The Australis.
Well, I love all of them, but the one that I was talking about was the Australis. I just think they're so pretty. And even in like the wintertime, they keep the seed pods, which I think is also adds winter interest, especially when you're in a place that snows. So it is pretty important to have that. I just think all year round they're beautiful, and I love the shape of them. I love the different colors. They're just
absolutely Baptisia australis. That is also one of my favorites. I actually do a talk. I travel all over Ontario doing a talk on underrated plants for the residential landscape. So at horticulture societies or schools or anything like that. And the false indigo, the Baptisia australis, looks like a shrub. Yeah. Right? Like it's got a really strong form and it looks like lupins, but it doesn't spread like lupins. So it stays really well behaved. And you can cut it down if you want, just like a hosta, but it does provide brilliant fall interest. So very, very pretty. And then the next question on the questionnaire, actually, there was a couple of things you said in this questionnaire. I'm like, this girl is just singing to my heart. It's like, how have we not met before? Because you mentioned the Hori knife.
Oh, yes.
And that is my go-to.
Yeah.
But when I fill out this questionnaire, that is my one tool. I have 3 different ones and love it. So, it's funny. So how did you hear about the Hori knife? This sounds like such a weird question, but it's such an interesting tool that I don't think a lot of gardeners know about.
Yeah, we had to have one for school. It was like one of the mandatory pieces of equipment that we had to come to school with. But before that, I've never heard of it. And then I started using it at school, and I was just like, this is the best tool. Like, I can't go anywhere without this knife. Yeah, I love that it has the serrated side. Like, it helps you like cut through things. It's a great weeding tool. Like, everything about it is just it's so handy. Yeah.
So I actually was given one. My first co-op was my second co-op was at the Royal Botanical Gardens in Burlington.
Yeah.
And my going away present was my own Hori knife because I was using theirs, right?
Okay.
And so they gave me one. And then just this past summer, somebody stole it out of my car.
Oh my, like, what?
Yeah. So I've had it all this time.
Yeah.
And that was a few years ago. That was 2016. Yeah, 2016. I've had it, and just this year, somebody stole it out of my car, along with a bunch of other tools.
I would never imagine that's what they would go for. Everything in a car.
It was a whole box of tools, and so they just took the whole box, and it was lesson learned. I left the car for not even 10 minutes, so it broke my heart, but it's okay. It's okay. I'm not crying. I'm not crying. So the garden, I just want to come back again and ask you about the garden that you designed and built for the Melbourne International Flower and Garden Show. It was actually a garden to raise awareness for dementia in both Ontario and Australia. So do you have a personal connection? Is that a reason why, or was that just the theme of the show this year?
No, so it was a personal connection to me. My Nona had dementia and unfortunately passed away from it, but it was just something that I'd never heard of before. And I started learning more about it as we learned about it like through her. And I just didn't realize it was such a common thing that people were experiencing. And there's 10 million new cases every year. And I think there needs to be more awareness for it. And they were doing a walk in Australia for Memory Walk and Jog for dementia, just I think a few months after the garden show. So I thought this is a perfect opportunity to speak about it. So I stood at my garden and people will come and talk to me about it and tell their stories. And then I mentioned the walk. So I just really want to help the community in that kind of way. And it was something that spoke to me. And apparently a lot of people also resonated with it too. So I think that was really beautiful.
That
Yeah.
is. Well, I'm sorry to hear about your dotem. I also lost my grandmother to dementia. So
Yeah,
it's
sorry.
and it is common, and a lot of
Yeah.
people don't necessarily know or are aware of it, right? So it's
Yeah.
a devastating disease. It really is. So the design that you came up with, I saw a few designs and renderings online. So it kind of had like this purple band through it. Can you kind of
Yes.
explain what you designed and what it was?
Yeah, so I wanted to create a garden that kind of showed that even during the night, there's still stars. So I want to use
Hmm.
lots of purple plants because purple is the color for dementia. So the ribbon was the purple dementia ribbon. And yeah, I just wanted to create something that it was pretty dark, but it's also beautiful seeing the pops of yellow in the garden, which was my experience with my Nona. Although it was like such a sad disease, there were still so many happy memories that I had with her even while it was going on. So I just really wanted to express that. So yeah.
That's a beautiful, was that the name of your garden? That even in the darkness there's stars?
No, it's just called the Dementia Society Garden, based off the Dementia Society of Ottawa and Renfrew County, because I
Okay.
worked with that organization as well. So,
Wow, just that's such a beautiful thought and kind of
oh, thank
reason behind
you.
it. Is that
Yeah,
even
thank you.
even in the darkness of night, there's stars, right? I
Yeah,
think that's a lesson a lot of us can carry with, not necessarily dementia, but
yeah,
so many aspects of life.
yeah.
So thank you for that. I'm going to carry that with me this weekend. Um, so something else that you had actually mentioned on your on the pre-interview questionnaire was this challenge of maintaining a work-life balance, and I do not think you are alone in that.
Yeah.
Regardless of age and how new or experienced you are in the profession, this work-life balance, especially when we love what we do, it's really easy to get caught up in work, 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 work,
Yep.
and we forget about some other aspects of life. But I love that you mentioned about realizing it's okay to take breaks.
Yeah, for sure. I think that was something even during school, after school. I feel like that's something everybody has struggled with. I've seen my friends struggle with it. I've struggled with it. It's just always thinking about work and what's the next step. And even if I'm like, sometimes I'd be spending time with my family at a family event and I'm not in the moment spending time with my family, I'd still be thinking, this is what I need to be doing next. This is the next step. Okay, what about this, and this? So it's just kind of important to take breaks. Otherwise, you're just going to burn out completely and you're not going to get anything done. So, yeah, I think it was
Mhm.
really a lesson that needs to be learned. And yeah, you see it everywhere, even from high school students, from students outside of high school to adults. Like it's just, yeah, an important lesson.
It's a tough one to learn. And
Yeah.
usually that lesson isn't learned until you burn out, right?
Yeah.
Until you hit that wall and you realize, holy crap, like this is not healthy. It's not sustainable to keep doing that.
Yeah.
And it is hard sometimes to
Yeah,
stay
for
in that
sure.
moment, right? To be present. And I know it's so easy, especially for me. I'm a type A, I'm a planner, I'm an
Yeah.
organizer. And I'm an entrepreneur. So it's always, okay, what's next? Who do I have to call tomorrow? Who do I need to invoice? Where am I going tomorrow? Do I have a site visit tomorrow? Right? I'm looking at my Google Calendar. It's like, okay, what's the next thing? And
Yeah.
sometimes we have to remind ourselves, can we just be present here,
Yeah.
right now, in this
Yeah.
moment, right? So maybe I'll take this opportunity to invite our listeners, wherever you are, if you're in the car, if you're in your studio and you're listening to this, just be in the moment. Take a second, take 10 seconds, and don't think about what's next. Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about later today. Right now, we're just having a conversation about horticulture and burnout so that you don't have to,
Yeah.
right? Here, here. So was it like working in Australia in the heat of summer?
Oh, well, we're just getting into the heat now. I think Boxing Day is going to be 44. Thankfully, I don't have to work, but we have had a few 40-degree days, and the
Wow.
sun here is really bad. Like the UV is extremely high. So even if the temperature, say, is like 30 here and it's 30 at home, it still feels so much hotter here just because the UV is so strong here. So
Mhm.
that is a big challenge here is being sun safe, always keeping sunscreen on hand, like applying all the time, wearing a hat, like trying to work in the shade if you can. Sometimes you can't, but yeah, and just taking breaks, drinking water is definitely it's different.
Yeah, I'm sure you're no stranger to both heat stroke and sunstroke,
Yeah.
right? Been there, done that. So we
Yeah,
try and learn from our mistakes, and it's
exactly.
okay to take breaks, go and sit in the shade, have some water,
Yeah,
sit down,
yeah,
have something to
yeah.
eat, right? I was actually just watching today because it's the winter solstice. So I was watching a little thing online with Bill Nye the Science Guy. Did you ever watch him as a
I
kid?
used to. I
Oh my
used to,
gosh,
yeah.
I totally did. So every once in a while he pops up in my feed and I just tune in. But he was showing a map of what the world looks like day versus night during the winter solstice. And
Hmm.
Australia is like full sun, heat of it, while the
Yeah,
rest of the rest of the world is dark, right?
yeah.
So we've got the shortest day, but Australia, it's like it was a crazy, crazy image actually for me to see because I'd never seen that before.
Yeah.
Um, so something else that I'm always fascinated as to what people mention when it comes to books, because I'm a bit of a book hoarder. I'm not gonna
Okay,
lie.
me too.
I like to say that I'm a recovering book hoarder, but no, I'm still a hoarder. Like there's no recovery in sight anytime soon. But something else you put on your questionnaire that just made me like squeal with excitement is you mentioned the book The Inward Garden by Julie Moore Maservi.
Yeah.
That's my favorite book of all time.
We have
Like,
so
how
many
did you know?
similarities.
Yeah, so who introduced you to this book? How did you come across it?
I was working at the school on a project in the winter. We were designing a recognition garden for the school, and we were just kind of thinking like about themes, how to make like a garden make somebody feel some type of way. And my design teacher, she came up to me, she's like, "Oh, you should read this book." And I was like, "Oh, okay, what's it about?" She's just read it. And I'm like, "Okay." And I read it, I'm like, "Oh my God, this is like the best book I've ever read. I love this book." And she's like, "I thought you would."
So I
Yeah.
have a copy with me here, and
Oh, no way.
it is a pretty old copy here because it's not in print anymore, right? You can only get used copies of it.
Yeah.
And from what I gather, they're quite expensive if you can find a
Yeah.
copy of it. But I've read this 4 times, and
Oh my gosh.
I will continue to read it. So
Yeah.
without, summarizing the entire book or reading from it, what's the one thing, like what's one takeaway from this book that you were like, man, that's awesome.
I think all of it, but
Yeah.
but I mean, I really liked the part where she was kind of talking about like going into somebody's garden and like asking them like like what do you like in a garden? Like when you go into a garden space, what do you like about that garden? What makes you feel that type of way? And kind of analyzing different gardens you go into,
Mhm.
and just kind of trying to replicate it of I understand this is why I like this garden, and then understanding like that is something that you put in your garden, and then kind of understanding when you're designing for a client, like what's important to them and making a garden for them and not based on like your preferences and just making
Mhm.
them feel something through a garden. She was talking, I think she mentioned like a Pinterest page of like showing all the things that they like in a garden. And then you're like, okay, this is how they like to feel in the garden. And just kind of understanding how people work and what they like through gardens. Yeah.
Right. I think the psychology of it is fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
think maybe not necessarily a lot of people, but I know that there are designers out there who are really good at one thing, right?
Yeah.
So maybe it's like hyper modern contemporary gardens, which is not my
Mm-hmm.
strong suit and it's not my style at all.
Yeah.
But if usually that's where I see that type of designer, that's what they do. It's a bit of a one trick pony,
Yeah.
right? And it's like, so they are just looking for people who like that style. They're not looking to personalize the gardens really in any way. They're just
Yeah.
hoping that their ideal clients reach out to them, be like, I
Mm-hmm.
love this. I want my house to look like a museum.
Yeah.
You know, cold, straight lines, super high maintenance, and that's their ideal client. Where I love the psychology of it. There's a certain je ne sais quoi about figuring out, okay, what is it? Like I had a client who actually, she's still my client, who does not like yellow.
Okay.
And that took me by surprise because she's a very happy woman and she's very outgoing. And I was like, what is it about yellow? Like it's very, very happy.
Yeah.
And she's just like, since my childhood, I just didn't like yellow. It's like, oh, like you've got a history with yellow.
Yeah.
Okay. Right? And you really get to know your clients on that personal level.
Yeah.
But in the book, Julie Moore Maservi, she really does dive into, childhood and how
Yeah.
the certain memories of place can
Yeah.
inspire us to design gardens that bring those people back into that sort of feeling that they had.
Yeah, I think that's what's so beautiful is like you're not creating a garden for you that you like, you're creating it for somebody else, and like it takes them to a certain place and like understanding what they like about gardens. And I just really enjoyed that perspective because again, I do see a lot of people, this is like my style, you like it or you don't kind of thing. This is what I design. But like kind of understanding a client and what they like, I think that's really beautiful.
Yeah. For me too, I know that there's a whole part in there in this book about the journey to the garden. And when I first read that, something clicked in my brain because I think as designers, a lot of us tend to forget about the journey to the garden. We can think about journeying through a garden once you've arrived, right? Here's the gate, and once you open it, you're in the garden. And these are all the paths and the walkways and how you get to the back door. But how do you get to the garden? And not to underestimate that, if you're walking through a really tight alley, let's say, of brick walls and there's no sunlight, and that's what you have to walk through to get to the garden, then you're already in a sort of sense like brain space when you arrive to the garden. So, right, and just I just love how she talks about the journey. I found it to be a very romantic book, but just chock full of information. So just talking about it makes me want to read it again. So, so with that, I think we've got your book recommendation. You are on social media, so you are Elissa_Astorino. So I will be tagging you when we post this online. And you did mention that maybe one day you'll have your own business.
Yeah, I do have like my own website and everything.
Yeah.
But again, I'm traveling so much right now that I haven't like sat down and like formed the business. But one day this is the long-term goal.
And hey, you are 21.
Yeah.
Right? So don't wish away your 20s. I remember that's what somebody was telling me. Don't wish away your 20s. But I can see you've got so many great opportunities and experiences ahead of you. So I wish you all the very best. I will be keeping my eyes on you on social media. And when you do start your business, you let me know.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for having me on, Heather.
Okay. Thanks, Elissa, and we will talk to you soon.
Perfect.
Cheers.
That concludes this week's episode, hosted by me, Heather Jerrard at My Landscape Artist. Now, before you go, here's some info about our sponsor, ext.tech. In today's fast-paced world, your landscaping business needs modern solutions to keep up with the change. That's where EXT comes in. EXT is revolutionizing the way you manage projects and streamlines your landscaping, snow removal, and construction operations. Instead of juggling 5 different software packages, endless spreadsheets, losing track of leads, and missing out on potential sales, you could be leveraging AI job routing, client management, and financial insights with a modern mobile app that employees love to use. With EXT's flat rate pricing, you'll never be caught off guard. If you're ready to revolutionize and grow your landscaping business, visit ext.tech today to learn more. And for additional savings, use the code HOPS10 at checkout, or just tell them that Heather sent you. See you next week for another episode of Hops and Hedges.